here. Rob Browne in Memphis and Brenden Martin is in Ocala, Florida. We are a lot to talk about today. Official word. Wow.
Officially, the officials suck.
Yeah. I mean, really, this is it's really frustrating. We're going to talk with
officially the officials are on the take. I mean, come on, man.
It was the worst officiated game I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot, and I've seen some bad officiating, but knowingly having a play in your playbook that is illegal, we're going to get some people to try to make sense out of it. Dave Bartu, elk hunting this morning out in Oregon, but we've got Coach Pete Cordelli, who won a national title at Notre Dame with Lou Holtz. We got Coach Ellis Johnson, who won one with Coach Gene Stallings at Alabama.
I bet you both those guys would pull something snaky like that. I don't trust Tom Cruise or Cordelli. Those guys are problems. You know, I bet you Cordelli all day long has got that and a couple other playbook of Flippadooskies in there. I'm going to talk to him about it.
Yeah, fumble rooskies or
fumble
something.
Rooski. You know what? Because I used to play tight end and I used to fall down and freeze the defensive end and then get up and squirm out at the end, like right on the goal line, bro. That's football, right?
You got to do whatever you can to win, but we're going to talk about it. And look, before we do it, take a picture with your cell phone of the QR code. We're live on X, Facebook, and YouTube, 8 channels simultaneously. And we cover the SEC, the best 60 minutes, the hour of power. We cover the SEC and Southern football. Yeah. Hey, we cover the football in the South like kudzu and cotton. And
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, kudzu is that big leaf that was brought to control erosion, and it was brought in by the College of Agriculture at Auburn. But you may not like kudzu, but they also, Auburn and Mississippi State together eradicated the boll weevil, which was a harm to the cotton crop.
But if you ever go to kudzu, all right. Well, we'll learn about that another time.
But if you ever go to Enterprise, Alabama, there's a giant boll weevil on the town square. And I know y'all have been down to the Wiregrass recruiting a player or two before.
And welcome to the Monday program, coaches.
Yeah. How are y'all?
You're doing great. Thanks for that history lesson. The boll weevils infected that officiating crew at Oklahoma. Oh, my gosh.
They're smoking something.
Man, I mean, I first off, I'm going to start with Pete, Ellis, whoever wants to take it first. Would you have jumped through the window in the press box and gone, if you were the defensive coordinator? I would have been like, I mean, Hugh Freeze almost exploded, guys. Yet they let it stand. It's almost like one of those games when there's a hurricane or bad weather and the game is just indefinitely suspended. That's what they should say on this game.
On top of that, the play where the kid supposedly fumbled.
Yeah.
It didn't fumble or whatever. And that one could have gone either way, I guess. I mean, they showed it over and over and over and over on a highlight thing. And I don't know which way it should have been ruled. But, boy, to get 2 calls like that going against you.
Yeah.
And they did get outplayed at the line of scrimmage. There ain't no question about that. But I don't know, man. Those two will keep you up at night. But Pete's an offensive guy, so he's probably had that play in his playbook or would run it. These offensive guys, I'm going to have to say it nicely because if I really tell you what they're like, and I probably wouldn't get invited back on the show. But
oh, no.
They're totally right brain, okay? And they think of this stuff. They must go home at night and eat mushrooms and whatever else and dream up
psychedelics,
all this stuff. That's why the officials have to come up with these rules. But sometimes you just can't catch them on everything. They're too creative.
Wait, the Big 12 crew that allowed Missouri to punt the ball, and that crew gets suspended. Let's see what the SEC does with this crew. Precedent's been set. This crew needs to be suspended. But that's a play that, at Neshaminy Junior High School, we used to run with great success. Obviously, from Incarnate Word to Washington State. And then Brenden, I'd love to hear that you played tight end and you had the shoot play in.
Yeah, but you got to freeze that. You got to freeze the defensive end.
Well, here's the deal. Fall down and yell, shoot. But, and then get up and roll after everybody runs.
You roll over outside. He thinks you're down. He goes for the quarterback. He freezes him. You're wide open in the end zone. Come on, all day.
Well, I heard something at one game the other day. It's the sideline. The coaches and the players are yelling, pass, and they're handing the ball off to the tailback. And then it's a pass, and they're going, run. And I'm like, this stuff was going on 50 years ago. What are y'all doing, man?
It works.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really strange because I was at the Arkansas-Memphis game about 10 rows off the field, right about the 35-yard line on the Arkansas side. And it was, I felt like I was in one of those Westerns where they used to bury you in the sand in the desert up to your head and cut your eyebrows off and you just burn at the stake. It was so hot. And, but water's only $2. I will say that. And, I was watching Arkansas and Memphis play and going, holy cow, how frustrating it is. Can't imagine what the conversation on those headsets was. But guys, look, first off, I'll say this. Auburn got manhandled at the line of scrimmage. And Coach Johnson, you brought that up. You got to start with that. Auburn did plenty to hurt their cause. But, again, if you whine too much about officiating, you're going to be 6-6 or at 4-8 every year. But you got to raise hell. Bobby Knight made a living out of doing it in basketball. He got in an official's ear early in a game and would try to set the tempo. But Oklahoma's got a good team. They got a hell of a defense, and we talked about it in the preseason, Coach Johnson. Their defensive front is wicked bad. And then when they brought the player in who had to sit out the first half, everything changed in their favor.
Yeah, I think also there was a difference in the two secondaries. And then you have to say now both of these quarterbacks brought to their football teams what they hoped they'd bring when they got them.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame. There's so many good things to talk about from a pure football standpoint.
Yeah.
And really good footballs, and, all types of things. And then that play, just ruins it all.
Yeah.
And even the other one on the, controversial fumble return. I mean, that's kind of hard to take too, but that one could have gone either way, I guess. But to blow this thing, I'm with Pete. They do need to lose a game or more than one game because that, hit them in the pocketbook and make an example, because I would assume it's embarrassing for them to be suspended for a week or two. You got to do something, and they do grade them, and they try to keep them accountable. But I don't know how you miss that. And the head linesman or the linesman was standing right by the kid.
Yeah.
But he knows he never came off the field, but he hit out over there.
When Ellis and I were head coaches, we would always have a pregame meeting with the officials. And right at the end, the officials would always turn and say, Coach, you have any more questions? I said, yes, one. Are you going to be consistent today? And they'd look at me like, I said, no. Look, you guys are human too. I'm not trying to be negative. Please don't make the game about you, but be consistent. And you know what? We all have good days. We all have bad. Oh, yeah, we're going to be consistent. Yeah, until the first yellow flag comes out. And then you go, where'd you go to school? And it's like, Coach, that's not the right thing to say. I said, don't tell me what to say. And that's kind of set the tone. So,
Yeah.
You kind of get, but you know what? You just want to make them aware they're involved, but don't let the game be about them. Yeah. And what gets me is we've had people in the replay booth to try to make the game better, and none of these calls get overturned.
How do they miss that in the booth?
Why are we paying those guys in the replay booth? Those guys have to be suspended too for missing that. There's a whole bunch of people at fault here.
Yeah. Well, Coach Johnson, along the line of what Pete just said, that line of reasoning, which is brilliant. It was in Billy Arbuckle's playbook. Why was it even in his playbook to begin with?
Well, the playbook's probably 10, 15 years old and been revised and added and taken out and whatever. So, I don't know. I mean, if they don't know they're running an illegal play, then okay. I've probably been told so many things. Hey, that shit became illegal 3 years ago. You can't do that. I'd be okay. Well, throw it out. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, don't put this on the coaches. No. I mean, this is the officiating, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they make, but they overpaid for that game. And if it'd been in the game where somebody got beat 30 points, it wouldn't be. It'd still be terrible. But this was a huge game. I mean, this thing could end up having national championship implications.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to have SEC implications. Yeah. And the officials cost the game. They might have lost anyhow because they did get outplayed in several areas. But they're in that ball game. And, I mean, they just gave them a touchdown.
When you're in the SEC.
The worst thing you can do as a head coach, I feel bad for Hugh. He had to go in front of his team and say, hey, guys, I can't blame anybody else. You played as hard, even though the offensive line got beat up a little bit. But to come down to one or two plays that are out of your hands, let that referee come in and explain it to my team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got guys that are playing their tails off for us. They're giving us great effort. They're trying. And yet a game is decided by not knowing the rules. This is 2025.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be educated.
Yeah.
My gosh, man. It's not just showing up. You got to go do what the hell you're supposed to do and do it well. That's what we ask the players. That's what we ask the coaches.
Yeah.
How about the officials?
Yeah. Well, another thing too, it is frustrating. And I remember a game I will never forget my freshman year. Auburn's playing Florida in the Swamp, and Florida wins the game 19-17. And Auburn thought they got the onside kick. Lionel James came out of the pile at the end down in the Swamp. That's before they called it the Swamp. And, Auburn lost. And after the game, Coach Dye in his locker room always opened up that opening video, him in the locker room. He said, look, football is a 60-minute game. He said, you just got to take care of business and don't let it come down to the man in the stripes determining the outcome. He goes, give credit to Florida. They got 19, we got 17. And let's get back to Alabama and get back to work. And, obviously you're frustrated and stuff like that, but always give credit. And I give credit to the Oklahoma team, but when as an official, those guys, and I've known some officials over the years. I one time made a comment at the quarterback club in Memphis and said, I stood up and I didn't know this guy was in the room, but I said, what we need to do is get officials who are in shape that get them on the track, get them working out, they can keep up with the speed of the game instead of these old fat guys. And I looked over and there's the commissioner, the head of officials for Conference USA was sitting at the table. I didn't know that was who he was. And he kind of looked at himself and I said, sir, I'm just being honest. And he didn't really disagree with me.
He's the same guy who is the head of the officials in West Tennessee. I know exactly who you are because I've had many calls with him, and I told him, I don't know what the hell y'all are looking at, but get sponsored by a freaking optometrist, okay? Holy cow. We'll give you free eyeglasses, dude, but know the rule book. Here's been a problem, Rob, around the country, and Ellis, you know this. The NFL about 5 years ago started firing guys, and so they were in a shortage of officials. They started bringing guys from the college game. The college game started bringing high school guys up. Now, high school teams in the state of Tennessee are required to play one Thursday night game and some a Thursday and Saturday game because there aren't enough officials to cover all of the games.
Ooh.
We are in a national shortage of high school officials because of so many guys moving on. Does it make the game at the next level better? No. And I think this is a direct reflection of some of these young guys with inexperience. We talk about coaches with inexperience. These crews have a bunch of inexperience. But there's a national advertisement that comes out every May. For the last 5 years, I've seen it. Officials needed. Call this number, and then we'll put you in touch with the state. It's national. But, there's a lack of experience in these officiating crews, too. But I'm with Ellis, man. There's got to be consequences for those dudes.
Yeah.
There's another aspect that I think has affected it recently, and maybe not as much as what you're talking about, Pete. But when these conferences added teams, that's more games. You got more games officiate, you got to get more officials.
Yeah.
You may get them from another conference, and they should be as competent, or you may have to bring them up. from the lower level. But either or, they haven't worked together as much as they used to.
Exactly.
So you don't have, I mean, one of the biggest things about officiating that I think is very, very important is, y'all mentioned it a minute ago, get in position to make the damn call. Yeah. And then if you miss it, I can sort of take it, okay? But if you're not where you can even see the call and you don't call it, or you do call it and you weren't in the right place, or if you just, you're not helping each other, you're not looking for the other guy to get the verification, foot down or not down, he did have position. Sometimes it takes two officials who've been together to make that call, and they know how to work with each other. If the dude just came from the WAC conference over there and had never called with SEC crew, it's harder. And I think that's affected it a little bit too.
Yeah.
I've always said,
I go back, hey, they got the replay stuff now. That's Power 5 conferences.
Yeah.
And I've always said officiating crew.
If you're down there in the heat of the battle, you could miss something. But the TV people that are watching it for replay.
Yeah.
Ellis, I've always said, man, officiating crews are like defensive backs. They have to have eye placement, and they have to take the right angles to look at things. Just like we teach DBs, eye placement, foot placement, how angles to the football. What's different with an officiating crew? Eye placement is critical. The angle you take so you don't miss the call. Now, sometimes you get blocked out and all that, but that's where replay comes in. It's sad that a game that was as hardly fought and played as that one comes down to 2 game-changing calls.
And the other one that we're not talking about, when Cam Coleman got tackled and they didn't call pass interference, the official had his back, but Auburn scored on that drive. So I guess, but still, wrong is wrong. But look, again, give Oklahoma credit. It's the officials on this one, because
I'm going to interrupt you. I just, coaches, I wanted to ask you, I worked in replay. Okay. I came from TV trucks. I worked in slow motion replay for college football, NFL, basketball, NBA, mostly hockey. I did 15 years in TV trucks, and we used to feed the replays down the line, before replay sort of became more popular. So be like, oh, they want to see it again. Hey, home feed down the replays from your truck, and work with the officials on, is this a call or not? In a sense, now they've got, this whole other setup, because they have a whole booth now that they sit up there and they have their own TVs and own cameras and their own ability to rewind. Because back in the day, you would just rewind and then you would, rewind it for them. Now they have more autonomy. I guess obviously, Coach Ellis, you have an opinion. Why not use the replay? But would you be for using things like AI and more of, the technology that's available to get the play call right? Is that something you see happening in the sport right now?
Well, I don't really know what AI is, but I know anything that can help.
Supercomputer. It's just super smart.
Yeah, I know. Just speed it up. But I'm for all that kind of stuff. I mean, not to get way off the subject, but like strike zone in Major League Baseball, all that. If technology's reliable, it's a hell of a lot better than Bill the umpire. I mean, it just not only a human error, but there's a lot of bias in humans.
Yeah,
I've got a few myself.
Yeah,
I think anything that can make the game called correctly for those kids that they didn't just play their ass off for 2 or 3 hours. They've been out there all week and all summer and all spring, et cetera. This is one of the biggest games in their lives. And these dudes in the striped shirts go out there and do something like this. But I still say I blame the replay people more so than the guys that were on the field.
Yeah.
Well, the guys with all this speed up play and tempo, and you can run out there and you can sub if they sub, but you can't sub if they don't sub. And as an official, that's kind of hard to keep up with. Going on and off the field and all that. And I mean, I almost don't want that rule in the rule book, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's up to the defense to see if the guy went off the damn field. But it is a rule, and then it's got to be officiated.
Yeah,
guys, the dogs are agreeing with you. I'm sorry about all that.
Hey, let me
who let them dogs out anyway? But look, in coaching today, Brenden, you bring up a great point. But coaches today, they have coached their team, especially on offense. Hurry up, get up, run the next play before the replay guy gets to buzzer, push that buzzer, and make the official stop play. How many times have we said, up, get up there, hurry up, get the ball, and guys are running, getting lined up, and all of a sudden the official has to come in and he goes, this play is under review from the replay booth. And how many times has the offense beaten the replay official? A bunch, because it's coached. Well, if you know that in the replay booth, come on, man, you're looking at all those angles. Get that thing down. Yeah, I understand about tempo offense and all that stuff, but when you're going tempo to beat the rules, you're looking for any advantage you can get.
Yeah. Let me say, again, Brent Venables coaching that defense, that all that is huge. And most every game comes down, y'all as coaches know this, to 4 or 5 plays. And this was one of those examples. You can't make a better example than this. And you look at people want to blame the coach when the kid fumbles. There's so many different explanations and rules, but it's Ryan Silverfield.
Speaking of coaches, I think it's in our headline today to talk about what's going on in Memphis. I figured that was a little near and dear to your heart, Rob.
Yeah, and you know what? And he was so nice to come on because I know Dr. Hargrave from Auburn, who's now the president at Memphis, and I saw Dr. Hargrave and his wife going into the game at Simmons Bank Liberty Bowl Saturday. And after the game, I texted Ryan Silverfield and I said, I'm really impressed and proud of the culture that you've built. That he's got either you fit or you don't. And I think he brought in 65 or 70 new players this year, and he fired back. Thank you. And I'm going to get him on the show hopefully here soon. And, he was coaching football when he was 19 or 20 down in Jacksonville, Florida at Bowles. He was with Mike Norvell as his offensive line coach, and he's going to be speaking at the Touchdown Club October 6th. And I went to the game with my friend Joel Johnson, saw a ton of it. It was sold out. But, you talk about a guy that's building a culture. And Coach Johnson and Pete, and both of y'all, we had Mac Browne on the show Friday. And that was just a great segment. Doug Dean and Frank Duffy and I and Brenden talking with him. And you know what he said? He goes, I found myself Thursday night yelling at the TV and getting excited about Charlotte and Rice. He goes, I just want to see these young men compete. He goes, I love football. And I do too. And you know what? We're getting so damn caught up in the first week of September. Who's going to make the playoff? We're forgetting about the season. And that I just love what is happening. And Fred Smith, the night before he died, was still trying to get Memphis in the Big 12. And I'm telling you, that's a big story. And they gave $25 million, FedEx did, to Memphis for NIL. And there's AutoZone, there's Lowe's. There's a lot of money. So there's good football around the country. I want to get into this with y'all. And because, by the way, y'all have explained it and made it make sense to me about what happened. I was right because y'all backed me up. And now people are saying, who do we email at the SEC office to express our displeasure and whatever? But you know what, man, looking at the SEC 1 through 16, there's a lot of good football. But before we go to the next topic, we got to talk about Florida. I had to go to the Memphis game, run back over here to the house, take a shower, go back to a wedding party. So I'm listening to the Auburn game a lot. Then I watched it all. I'm watching Florida against Miami. How can you only have 32 yards? Well, I guess the other team's defense is good. Florida had 32 yards of offense in the first half. I thought Florida would be really good this year. Pete, Ellis, whoever wants to take it first. What's going on with Florida, and is it fixable with the current coach and this staff and the quarterback and everything?
It's a shame they're wasting such good defense the way they're playing.
Yeah.
And I cannot figure out what's going on. Billy Napier's a damn good football coach.
Yeah, he is.
And I think the only thing I can come up with, I don't know the roster. I bet Pete knows a heck of a lot better than I do. But Lagway's been in and out of practice, in and out of workouts, in and out of this, in and out of that. And if it's any one position, you certainly want him out there consistently. It'd be quarterback. He's just not playing as well as he did last year when they made that run. He was the difference in that team last year. And the way he's played this year, I guess he's causing it in reverse You know, it's just not there. He's not taking care of the football. He's not making enough critical plays, and they can't overcome it. And I haven't seen them play all that much because the other games on. I try to flip back and forth, but it's just amazing when you pull up their stats at the end of a game and look what they've held the other team to, and they're getting beat by double digits.
Yeah. That defense, Ron Roberts has got, we all know he started the creeper defense back at Delta State years ago, but Pete, man, Ellis just nailed it. Explain to people, and again, folks, this book is the gospel. It really is. It started in Neshaminy with the Redskins in Pennsylvania with your dad. What was your dad's name?
Pete Sr.
Big Pete. Okay. All right.
Yeah, Big Pete.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, but when I read this, and Ellis, you and Pete need to write a book about just what we talk about on this show, because I have people compliment y'all and they're like, man, it's like I'm klepping a course in grad school to learn about football. So thank you, by the way, both of y'all, more than you know. But no. Pete, I want to get, what he just said. How dangerous is it when a quarterback misses that much work? Brenden, I got to give Brenden credit, and I always do. He's been on top of this, and so is Lauren Meadows about, man, there's more to it. We just don't know. But obviously, when you miss that much work, it's like missing 75% of the semester classes, and then you get there to the final exam. What are you going to do?
Let's go back to the spring.
Okay.
Lagway did not throw a pass all spring.
Yeah.
He had either shoulder, elbow, some kind of arm, upper body problem.
Yeah.
And so you go all of that time with new receivers, with new personnel, and there's an acronym, KYP, know your personnel. And passing game's timing. Catch it, release, 3-step drop, release, 5-step drop, get it gone, sprint out. If I'm going right, by the 6th step, ball's got to be gone. If I'm a right-hander going left, 7th step. It's timing. It's timing.
Yeah.
Well, he had no timing at all with any of those guys. All of a sudden, after the 4th of July, the report comes out, Lagway's back trying to throw. He's doing long toss, doing some things to get it back. And it's like, long toss has nothing to do with timing with his receivers. Then he gets hurt in the weight room. He hurts his leg and he can't run. So now, if you can't run and put pressure on your leg and your arm's still bothering you, half your body's taken away from you. And it was this idea that the strength coach, do more. Former players have come out and said the problem happened in the weight room with the leg. DJ did not participate in 11 on 11 reps until the Monday before the Long Island University game. That's 3 weeks into August. Cool. He missed March, April, May, June, July, August. How can a quarterback miss 6 months? And now with the defenses he's playing, LSU, Blake Baker brought the kitchen sink and then some.
Yeah.
Lagway has become a one-read guy. If his initial read is not there, he drops his eyes and he looks to run.
Yeah.
He is throwing so much off balance because he's overstriding. Oh, he'll hit a pass here and there, and you go, oh, maybe he has it back. No, it's like my golf game. I'll hook, slice, chunk it, and then maybe if I close my eyes, I might hit it good.
Yeah.
Lagway, and Ellis makes a great point. He is not the same guy that led him to 4 victories at the end of the year last year.
Yeah.
And now some of the clock management stuff, like against South Florida, you throw 2 incompletions and you only take 17 seconds off the clock. You give the ball back to South Florida, and then you have 2 big penalties, a holding call by a defensive back, and then the spitting deal and all, and then all. But then again, this Florida team, they played, when I saw the first quarter, I went, this is 1988 Notre Dame, Miami. it looks like the Blades brothers are back on for the Canes. And it was like, here we are, 4-3 cover 2. The only adjustment we're making is with our chin strap. Let's go, boys. And let me tell you, I looked at my son-in-law. I said, this team is as fast as that team we played in '88.
Wow.
And I got to credit Mario. The new coordinator he brought in from Minnesota, he's really doing a good job bringing the pressure. But if there's a better defensive end in the country than Ruben Bain, and that guy, wow, does he play with effort. I mean, they show a clip. He's on the left side. He rushes, ball's thrown to the flat. He turns and makes the tackle from behind 5 yards down the field. Miami's playing with great effort right now.
Yeah.
But their defense, they're back to the old speed, and they are downhill knocking the living daylights out of you.
Yeah, Pete, I want to ask you, and as parlayed into a question with Ellis. Tommy Tuberville told me one time that when he was at Miami, those 8 years, 86 to 93, he said in practice, our scrimmages, it was better than most games. The speed, he talked about the speed. Yep. And Coach Johnson, is it fair to say that Miami was the school back in the 80s with Alonzo Highsmith, the Blades brothers, Brett Perryman, Jerome Browne? I mean, you just go down the list. They had faster guys on defense than most of their opponents had skill-wise on offense, Coach Johnson. Is that?
Yeah, the recruiting was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't understand about Miami is private school. It's extremely expensive. And one time I was visiting with Art Kehoe. Art was the offensive line coach.
Wow.
Before Jimmy even got down there.
Yeah.
But he was just chatting, and he said, we don't have but one walk-on the team. And I think he was a kicker.
Yep.
And that's one reason they had to service each other like a professional football team does. And man, I mean, you're playing against guys out there on Tuesday and Wednesday, and they probably are better than the ones you're going to see on Saturday. But they had that. Well, sometimes it was necessary to practice that way. But that was one of the results of it. The competition on the practice field was unbelievable.
Well, hey, Rob, can I tell you this?
Yeah.
In Dayton, Broward County, and Brenden knows this, and Coach Johnson knows this. In Dayton, Broward County alone, there's 103 high schools that play football in those two counties. Wow. And then you can go out to Pahokee and Glades. It's like Dana Kirk used to say about Memphis basketball. I fill my car up with gas, and by the time I go from F to E, I have all the players I want.
Yeah.
That's South Florida.
Yeah.
This was a huge recruiting game as well for Miami because they had a number of dudes on the sideline at that game. Yeah. But I credit Mario with getting back to what the U did. Yeah. One thing that Coach Holtz always said, from the time we were at NC State, Arkansas, Minnesota, Notre Dame, first thing we had to change was team speed and recruiting. You can't coach speed. For as much as everybody says we're going to put in speed improvement, you either got it or you don't. Now, you can get guys bigger. You can get them stronger. But either guys can run or not. Second thing, recruit better than what we have so that we can increase the competition Tuesday to Friday. Well, we were fortunate. At Arkansas, we had some damn good players. Dan Hampton, Jimmy Walker, and then at Notre Dame when we got there, there were certain times in practice. Rocket Ishmael at receiver could only go against Todd Light at corner. It doesn't do you any good to go one-on-one against anybody else because they can't cover you. So we're going best against best. Then it got to the interior line with Junior Bryant, Chris Zorich going against Timmy Grunhard and Matt Ryan, Timmy Ryan and those guys. And Ellis has been around. You increase the competition on your team through recruiting. That's the old Miami way of doing it. And, Coach Schnellenberger really started it, man. But, he coached for Coach Bryant. He was the offensive coordinator at Alabama when Namath was, and Coach Bryant was always, we got to have better players.
Yeah.
But in today's game, number one, you go into a place, find speed. We used to keep 2 scholarships for the spring, and we would go out and watch track meets to see if we could find an overlooked 100-meter, 200-meter guy who was also a football player that could return kicks. Yep. And it ended up paying off for us. We'd sign a guy late, but, man, he came in and had an immediate impact on special teams. So there's some things in recruiting you have to do to change the character of your football team. Number one is speed. Number two is competition.
Yeah. This is
but I mean, look at Brian Kelly, look at Mario, and then look at Billy Napier, right? All came in at the same time. Everyone talks about how Billy had less than. I don't know. I didn't think Mario had a lot in Miami. Brian Kelly had probably the most in the bin, but I get tired of that conversation. I'm sure coaches do, like, well, they're not your guys. Well, those are your guys. Well, you got to coach them up, right? But nonetheless, it's just hard to look at the breadth of work from those three guys and feel like, I know Billy's done a lot, but the knock that I have literally had with him since they played in Salt Lake 2 years ago, was the disorganization on the sidelines, the lack of communication, the inability to get the right personnel on the field at the right time. To me, when I played football since I was 8, that was a problem. If we couldn't get that on my high school team, we would literally practice half the practice on getting on the field at the right time, getting off at the right time. If we had a problem with that, that's how you dealt with it. And I just don't. That's never been fixed with the largest staff in the history of college football. Why is that a problem? Why is there no offensive coordinator? And and look, we're here. Brian Kelly's got a better, situation than you do, which I'm not a huge Brian Kelly guy. And, Mario's kicking your ass. I mean, this was the payback game from last year. You were supposed to have it. This was the one you put on the calendar. You marked it. And Florida, I don't care what the score was going in the third quarter. It was over long before the game was over.
Yeah, Brenden, I'm telling you, Brenden, when you take over a program, those are your guys.
Yeah.
You got to find a way, because I'm telling you, that's the core of your football team until you can change it in recruiting.
Yeah.
Okay? Right now, of all the 16 teams in the SEC, Florida has the third most players. Excuse me. They have the third highest ranked talent roster in the SEC behind Georgia
and Bama.
Florida is third. And you look, I went to the Titans game yesterday. I'm talking to a couple scouts, and they're telling me, man, they don't understand what's going on in Gainesville, but they can't wait to get some of those kids to the NFL. And it's like, you know what? I've never believed it's a coach's job to get guys ready for the next level. We got to win where we are first, or else I'm out of a job.
That's right. All right, let me throw something. And Ellis, you have coached, my gosh, some of the defensive linemen that you have coached. Montravius Adams, Vienna, Georgia, Dooley County High School. What a badass. 6'4", 305 with no gut. Carl Lawson. Jadeveon Clowney. You identified that young man in high school. Rock Hill, South Carolina, by the way, per capita has produced, I think, I read the article you sent me, Coach, more NFL players. And Stephon Gilmore from there too. Yeah, it's incredible. Talk about this. And Brendan's been, I can't even, when you mentioned, by the way, Art Kehoe, offensive line coach, Coach Gordon Ellingsworth, I know him from over at the Y, coached 38 years, at Rhodes, and we went to Augustana College. He told me one time about a conference he went to with Art Kehoe years ago, offensive line coach at Miami. And Art Kehoe said, going forward, the divas in college football are going to be the wide receivers, and it's going to change the game. But when you talk about Art Kehoe, that's like if you're interested in being a drummer in a band and you reference John Bonham. But go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell y'all we were visiting in 1985. So I didn't want to tell my age, but
hey, that means wisdom.
Tom Cruise, it doesn't matter how old you are. You're a sexy bitch. No matter what, you're the best looking, whatever age you got going on. You're a movie star.
Yeah, and look, here's the thing, Coach. Both of y'all.
Pete, just close yours, Pete. They've been talking to me like that for 2 years.
Look at him. I noticed you look a little got a goatee going, Coach. I don't know.
Not one opportunity.
Hey,
they're good at podcasting. They ain't worth a damn at age.
But Coach,
I will say this, Rob. I thought I saw Coach in a movie the other night when I flipped on the channel. I saw,
you did.
Oh no, golly, it is Tom Cruise. Oh, I thought that was Ellis.
Well, when I was watching a replay of the South Carolina-Alabama game in 2010, and I remember Gary Danielson and Vern Lundquist go, Ellis Johnson is coaching this defense, and they were raving about you. But Coach, kind of pick up on what Pete said, because this, the scouts, you're right. I got to win here in college or I don't have a job, and that's got to be frustrating when people see a kid come out there the first game of his freshman year against Win U. He'll be in the league in 3. Man, that journey, I mean, what the day in and day out. We talked about Florida, and then we got this Alabama-Georgia game coming up Saturday, and we talked about Auburn, we talked about Oklahoma, Miami. Yeah, Miami's scary good. What's scary is I think I saw in the polls, Oregon at 3, Miami at 4. Mario left Oregon. Now he's at Miami, and he played at Miami. He's trying 86-90. He's trying to bring back that pride. But, Coach, let's talk about Georgia and Alabama. Both schools have a bye. And, Dave Bartu says he tells every athletic director in the country, don't schedule byes in September. It's terrible. But both these schools have a bye, so that kind of negates it. What do you think happens in Athens this Saturday at Sanford Stadium, Dooley Field?
Well, I'm not going to begin to try to predict it, because y'all earlier said they're the 2 most loaded teams in the SEC according to talent rank.
Yeah.
So whichever can go over there and play well is going to win the ball game. Now, which team is that going to be? Hell, I don't know. I do think if it comes down to a real close, hard-fought ball game, there's evidence that Georgia can handle that mentally and physically, and Alabama maybe can't. But other than that, I don't know. I mean, that's 2 really good football teams. The 2 quarterbacks that are new, everybody had some let's wait and see about both of them. Yeah. And they have both now proven that they're the leaders of their team and they're really good players. So, again, I couldn't begin to start to predict the game. You got to give Georgia the nod being at home. But 2 good football teams coming off of a bye week, extra time to prepare, extra time to get anybody that's dinged up healthy. Yeah. So it's a big one. But I tell you, this coming weekend's loaded. That's 2 or 3 other games.
Yeah, I mean, let's go down the list here. You've got Alabama and Georgia. Arkansas's got Notre Dame. Auburn's at Texas A&M. You got Kentucky at South Carolina. LSU at Ole Miss. Mississippi State's at Tennessee. Missouri's got UMass, the Minutemen.
They're literally 3 games that no question they will affect the SEC title.
Yeah.
But could affect the national championship.
Yeah.
I mean, there's out of those 3 games, LSU, Ole Miss, Auburn, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, the national champion could easily come out of one of those 3 games.
Yeah. And another thing, too, is I think, and I've always said this, I don't care what the score is, you're getting your ass kicked or you're way ahead. How you play in the last minutes of the game is just like track. Don't run to it, run through it. I'm talking about the finish line. That's what I always was told. That's what I tell everyone I've ever coached. The way Ty Simpson never quit hustling. He's a coach's son from UT Martin. He's got a younger brother at Martin Westview High School who's a big-time recruit at quarterback. That told me, I said, Alabama will be back. Because, I picked Georgia to play Bama for the SEC championship, and I picked Georgia to win. Pete, do you agree with me about Ty Simpson? He never, ever quit in that Florida State game. A lot of guys, let's be honest, they mailed it in the third quarter. He never stopped hustling. He's one of those guys, like as coaches, do you all go ballistic, your head explode when you're watching the game tape after a game? A guy's way over on the other side of the field and he's jogging. He's not going to catch him, but it's the effort because it carries through to practice and everything else, Coach. Am I crazy or am I being too critical?
No.
I know I'm crazy.
Exactly right.
Okay.
I mean, here's the deal. Effort is an attitude. It doesn't take talent to give effort.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
It's a choice. And you always say, we got to capture effort. How do you coach? Well, it's making practice more demanding than what you're going to see on Saturday. But effort is a choice. Georgia, I hope they've solved their secondary issues that they had in Knoxville. If not, Ty Simpson might throw for 500 yards on him. Alabama, I hope they've solved the quarterback run defense and can stop a quarterback run, or else Gunnar Stockton may run for 500 yards. You've had 2 weeks to prepare. You have to figure out how to take away the other team's strength. The strength of Alabama's offense is their passing game and Ty Simpson. The strength of Georgia's game is Gunnar Stockton running the football and being able to make throws on the run. Alabama, for the last 2 years, has had trouble with a mobile running quarterback. And you've had a chance to work on it. Now, Georgia made a heck of a comeback last year in the second half, but doesn't matter. I mean, whole new game, whole new personnel. And I'm like Coach Johnson. I mean, in Athens, this is the blackout game. The Georgia fans, everybody, they've been waiting on this one. And I just got to believe that the most physical team is going to win the football game. I'm concerned about Alabama's offensive line slowing down the pressures, especially from the edge rushers that Georgia can bring. If they can get to Simpson and not give him time to throw the football, they'll have a good day. But if Simpson gets the ball out quick, I don't know if the Georgia secondary can slow down the Alabama offense. So this one may come down to whoever has it last, or whoever turns the football over the most in big games like this, going to put their team behind. And you don't want to do that on the road. If you're Alabama, you got to score first and make Georgia have to play from behind.
Yeah. Ellis, Friday, it was pretty funny. We got Coach Mac Browne to sing the Vanderbilt fight song. He got so boom, boom, dynamite, Cumberland. he and his brother Watson, it was just a cool deal. I'm with him. I love watching them compete. Go ahead, Brenden.
I want to see the Tennessee Mississippi State game.
Yeah,
that's going to be really good. I said weeks ago my dark horse with my AI choice was Mississippi State in the SEC. They're playing great, and I just continue to love Drinkowitz. I continue to love what they're doing at Missouri. I keep every year. Everyone says they're not going to be that good, and they're always getting better. So I like him for a coach at Florida. Just say.
Well, Drinkowitz is he has a chip on his shoulder. He coaches, but he wears a blue and white seersucker suit to media days. He's just a cool guy.
He doesn't have excuses.
And no, he doesn't. And he's got 4 daughters.
No excuses. It's like this is it. This is what I got. These are my guys. I'm gonna go. Those are my favorite coaches. Like you guys. Like those are just. I don't know. That's the kind of coach I grew up around. That's the kind of coach I know. But it's like, let's go win. However we got to win. It's a game. I'll never forget the conversation with Urban Meyer talking about Dan Mullen and just saying, hey, we knew with the spread option, we didn't have to have the best guys in the field to go win. We could win that way, by a little of this and a little of that and chipping away at it. I just love, when everyone thinks that this one team's going to be a certain way and then they're totally wrong because you got a great coach.
Well, it's low. People get logo fever, Coach Johnson, and they start looking at the schedule. And I'm Brenden. I heard Jeff Lebby. I was standing right there listening to him talking at SEC Media Days on the SEC Network set and just talking off there. This is Art Briles' son-in-law. He knows a lot about offense. Coach, you've been at Mississippi State. They don't have the money that even Ole Miss has, but they've got diehard fans. It's an agrarian school. You remember the great Southern writers in the 1920s, the fugitive poets, the land grant school. They love that school. They will give their last dollar to support Mississippi State. They're 4-0. They got Tennessee coming to town. As Jack Crystal would say, "There's places are rocking at Davis Wade Stadium, Scott Field, and Starkville, Mississippi." I love Jack Crystal. You knew him, Coach. You knew him, Pete.
Very well.
Pete did color on the radio, by the way. I'll never forget. I rode you rode down to the Auburn game, Tuberville's first game back at Auburn in '99. Corey Peterson, the wide receiver from Germantown High School, caught that ball in overtime, and I had to go back over there with David Kellum and Pete Cordelli and the Ole Miss crew and just go, "Congratulations, guys! It's okay."
The best Jack Crystal, and Ellis knows Jack, but I mean, he was a chain smoking dude, and just I told it like it was, and so I'd see him. I'd say, "Hey, Mr. Crystal," he said, "Pete." I said, "How you doing?" He said, "Pete, I'm so old I don't buy green bananas when I go to the store," and I'd laugh. And so we're doing the Ole Miss game, and we play the early game. I'm driving back to Memphis, and State's playing Alabama later that afternoon, the 2:30 kick. So by the time I get out of there, it's the third quarter. And so Mr. Crystal says, "We'll be right back with the sonic drive of the game." He said, "This is Jack Crystal, and Sonic is one of the great sponsors. After this, I'll give you the Sonic drive of the game." So they go to the Sonic commercial. Yep. He comes back. He said, "The Sonic drive of the game for the Bulldogs today is my drive from Starkville back to Tupelo, because that's the only damn thing that will get any confidence going after Alabama just absolutely dismantled the Bulldogs." Yeah. And I almost drove off the road. I'm going, that's Jack. I mean, that's Mr. Crystal, man. He was told it like it. Hey, I'm going to tell you now, between him, Larry Munson, and Kaywood Ledford, and I mean, there were some great announcers in the SEC.
Well, they kept us on the edge of our seat. I mean, and Ellis, let's talk about Tennessee and Mississippi State Saturday, because this is the energy on this show, man. We could power several homes. I love this.
Yeah, I mean, when I looked at it, I thought, what a great opportunity for State. And I hate to tell you, I have not seen them play a down this year, just because of when the games are coming on, et cetera. Yeah. And I've seen some playback, seen some things. He's obviously got the offense doing pretty well, and they're playing decent defense. Now, they haven't played anybody. So
Arizona State, though.
Well, it remains to be seen how good they are.
Yeah.
Tennessee is better than Arizona State, I think. Yeah. So it a huge opportunity for State. And a quick comment, y'all talked about Drink. You tell me a game where his kids have come out there and look like they're mailing it in or just not confident.
Never.
And I was talking to one of my good friends, Charlie Harbison, the other day. He worked for Drink. And he said one period kind of goes back to what we were talking about Miami a while ago. He always has a practice period on the Tuesday or Wednesday work days where you got pads on and all that. And you have to be prepared as a coach, like 3 plays or 6 plays that were not played well, and he would make the team go good on good and run those plays against each other. Both sides, run these. This is similar to what they're going to run. It's the closest thing we got in our system to that. But the bottom line, he was trying to at least get a little bit of scout work for the next team, but he was going good on good. And I can tell you, they do it more than a lot of teams do. And I just believe in it. As a defensive coach, we always were better tacklers coming out of spring than we were middle of the season.
Yep.
Because offense, you can get a lot of offensive things worked out even on air. But defense, you can't get better unless you've got somebody working against you that's a pretty good football player. Mike Dubose used to always say defense is sight, reaction, contact. If you don't have anybody over there really executing well, the sight ain't worth a damn, the contact ain't worth a damn, and the reaction, you can be slow as hell and still get it done. So I always wanted to work good on good. If the coach would let us do it, I always wanted to work good on good. I didn't care what they ran.
Yeah.
And that comes down to the competition being better against each other during the week. I got to tell you, in a 12-game schedule, when you have better personnel in 7 or 8 of those games, you got to go good on good. So you're getting a better picture from your guys than what you're going to see on Saturday on game day. When I went up to Missouri to watch them play UCA in the first game, Missouri, the one thing about Drink now, he can evaluate very well.
Yes.
He won the transfer portal this year by getting Ahmad Hardy from UL Monroe. And the Trotter kid at linebacker, he's just like his daddy. I mean, when his daddy played for the Eagles, now that cat could go sideline to sideline and just knock you into next week. Yeah. And Trotter is coming up with big plays, but they play with energy. They play hard. It's not a lack of effort. I mean, those cats are going good the entire game. I mean, it's like the Energizer Rabbit up there. And, Ellis makes a great point. At some point in the week, you have to get good on good because it's the speed and physicality that you can't match until you get on the field on Saturday.
Yeah. And look, we've got the 2-minute warning. We're about out of time. I'm a big Drinkwitz fan just because the way he coaches. And Missouri's going up to 80,000 at Faurot Field. They are people, you better pay attention to what's going on around you. This is not a zero-sum. It's not, you build a new football building. Well, guess what? Missouri's building one too. So is that other school that you play. The competition in this league it's so intense. And one thing real quick, I want to ask you both in 30-second answer. Clark Lee, Vanderbilt, Barton Simmons, the way they're evaluating talent, and now they're going past the 35 families that they've always asked for money. Folks, in case you don't know, there's a split ton of money in the Metro Nashville area of Davidson and Williamson County. Per capita, Williamson's the highest income in the state of Tennessee. That comes from selling millions and billions of dollars of tax-free bonds over the years. Ellis, Clark Lee, he stays at Vanderbilt, I think.
Yeah, he's done a great job. And everybody says, well, he knew Vanderbilt because he played there.
Yeah.
He's not doing it the old Vanderbilt way, okay? Right. He's gone to the portal. He's gone to the NIL, and he's figured out we can't do it by sending our kids over to St. Mary's to take the hard courses and still recruit a high school kid. So, his best recruiting there has been the University of New Mexico. And
New Mexico State.
You got to go portal and NIL to win anywhere now.
Yeah. Hey, Ellis, and not only for players, but for coaches. Yeah. There's been some turnover in the first 3 years that Clark was there, but bringing the two coaches along with Diego Pavia from New Mexico State, man, that was huge. And these guys are believing. Yeah. Brian Longwell played for us at Lipscomb Academy. He's the leader on defense. And Junior Sherrill played for us at Lipscomb Academy. They're doing a better job recruiting the local area. And Clark Lee's doing a heck of it. And you know what? He and Brent Venables are back in their element because they're both running the defense. Yeah. They're coaching again, man. They're more excited.
Yeah, that it's scary. And just don't sleep on anybody, folks. They're all coming. Coach Ellis Johnson, Coach Pete Cordelli, thank you more than you know for sharing your time with us. This is awesome. We will do it again next week, and we'll talk throughout the week as we get ready for another big weekend. This was awesome. Appreciate it.
I can't wait to pull up the Brenden Martin highlights on the great tight end on the shoot play.
Shoot play, Coach. I love it. Coach, you and I are gonna have a watch party one day. We're watching football together.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'll be screaming at the TV like Mac Browne did.
I'm gonna get my boys. I get Coach Johnson. I get Cordelli. I get Mac Browne.
We're gonna have fun, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna thank our sponsors real quick here. This was awesome show. Thank y'all so much. Landers Ford people had someone come up and ask me at a party the other night, hey, I want to get one of those new Broncos, Robin Egg Blue. And I told her, I said, call Brad Bellamy, the general manager at Landers Ford. Poplar and Houston Levy, where Germantown and Collierville come together. Hey, don't get worked up. It ain't the doing in life, Henry B. said. It's the dreading. Just go in there, call ahead, ask for Brad Bellamy, the general manager at Landers, set up an appointment. They're open every day of the week except Sunday. All the Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. The Lights Out Sleep Gummies, folks. Getting good night's sleep is good for your health. These gummies work. They've got pain lotions. They've got chill, energy, lights out gummies. Take a picture with the QR code. Code name Sidelines for 25% off. And Rumble Boxing. How you fight is how you live. You got to work out. You got to stay active. They're open every day of the week. Union and McLean in Midtown Memphis. And Hewlett and Dunn Boot and Clothing Company on the historic square in Collierville, Tennessee. Look, drive out there. There's nothing like it in Memphis, the Mid-South, anywhere I've ever seen. And if you order something, they'll ship you hats, boots. They're bringing in Barber, Filson, Duckhead. They've got great-looking Ariat, Wrangler. They've got jeans. They've got the Filson luggage. They've got Barber jackets coming in. Man, they've got kids' boots, men's and women's clothing. Charles Hall, his wife, Laura, the whole team. You cannot get better. Hey, most often we see the face of Christ in the least among us. For executive producer Brenden Martin, Rob Browne, stay tuned to this channel. We'll see you.
Carbo Knows will be on this afternoon and the Buddy Martin Show on this evening.
All right. See, come here for nonstop, the best truth in the SEC. Thank you.